Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. First things first, I just want to start off by saying that I am sorry for not uploading consistently these past few weeks. I think it's been like 2 weeks since I uploaded. That is because I have moved. I was moving. It was stressful. I don't know why I thought that I was gonna be able to film, edit, and post while I was moving. I honestly really always put these like ambitious goals on myself without actually taking into account like real life. But as you can see, I'm in a new place. It's just much bigger than my old place. It kind of is similar, but it's just bigger, and I'm so happy because now I am going to have my own office, my own library, and all of that. So I'm just so happy, and I'm really excited to be back filming for you guys. Right now my apartment is literally a mess, just kind of everywhere right now. We have been unpacking for about like 2 days now, but we were moving for about like 3 to 4 days, and then on the last day we had to like deep clean the last unit, and it was a lot. But I had a lot of help. Shout out to my mom, she's an angel. She helped me so much. Also shout out to my brother, he helped with the big things. And yeah, as you can see, there's bags and boxes behind me. I'm still in the process, girl. But I'm excited to show you guys when my apartment is done, or at least my office is done. That way you guys can see my little reading nook and possibly do a bookshelf tour, all the things, all the exciting new content that comes with moving and stuff. Next thing that I wanted to mention was shout out to everyone who is subscribed to me, and every new person that has subscribed to me. It makes me so happy every time I see a new subscriber, every time I see somebody join my little family here where we fucking love books and we just talk about books, and you guys love to hear me rant and love to hear my opinions. And honestly, I just wanted to be a part of the book community, and you guys have made me feel so welcomed and just took me into the fold and gave me a giant hug, and were just so supportive. And shout out to Ava Reads Romance. Avery, you are so sweet. Thank you so much for shouting me out. You have shouted me out a couple of times, and it literally warms my heart every time I see it. I am so happy, and thank you to everyone who subscribed to my channel. I am going to be trying to be a lot more consistent. It just kind of, this whole like shout out and new subscribers just all happened while I was moving, and I wasn't able really to express just the gratitude and appreciation that I have for the book community. Yeah, I get so happy, and it just brings such a big ass smile to my face. But anyways, moving on. Today's video is going to be my mid-month wrap up. You know, these are the easiest ones to film because, you know, these are constant videos every month. The other ones you gotta have to plan out and stuff, but these are easy, and you guys get to see my thoughts / reviews and ratings. So let's just jump right in. I think I read, let me check. I think I read about 15 books first half of October. Did I say September? This is my October mid-month wrap up. This is my October mid-month wrap up. I'm excited. Let's jump in. There's a lot of novellas because that was mostly all that I was reading while I was moving. So let's just get into it. First book that I read in the month of October was Broken Bonds by Bree. So I ended up picking up this book first thing in October because I joined the Bonds That Tie read along hosted by a lot of booktubers. I gave this book originally 4 stars. I am going to, the more I thought about it, I'm going to give it 3.5 stars, but on Goodreads, I'm gonna keep it as a 4-star, but it's really 3.5. I thought it was interesting, it was enjoyable, just honestly mainly character development. This is the book where you meet every single character that is going to be in all of these 6 books in this series. So I ended up loving all the characters, so I think that's why I enjoyed this book. A lot of people found it boring, but honestly, if you read fantasy, this is just kind of what happens in the first book of a fantasy series. I enjoyed it. I fell in love with all 5 men. I fell in love with the main heroine. I thought she was a badass. She still is a badass. I just wanted more answers. This book left me wanting answers. So as the first book in a fantasy series, I'm giving it 3.5. Next book that I read was the second book in this series called Savage Bonds by Bree. I gave this book 4 stars. This is going to be a solid 4 stars. This one is also mainly character development. You get to see more into Ollie's thoughts, and you get to build a deeper connection, especially with Atlas, Gabe, and Griffin. So this one I really enjoyed. There is a bonding that happens in this one that I also truly enjoyed. I just overall enjoyed the second book a lot more than the first one, just because you just get more development in the series and you put pieces of the puzzle together. You also get snippets of all the other men, but you just don't get a deeper connection with them. You get to learn more about everyone's powers, and this is the book that you finally know what Ollie's amazing power is. The reason why this book didn't get 5 stars, I feel like it's just Ollie's reasoning for not being like 100% about her bonds is not logical to me, but we are only in the second book of the series, so it is what it is. I'm excited for the third book. This read along actually got canceled because all the booktubers that were hosting it didn't like it. They didn't like the first 2 books and they were having trouble getting into the third, or they started the third and they were just like, no, this isn't it. And they all came to a consensus that this read along was going to get canceled. But I think that I'm going to be finishing this series. I already started doing a reading vlog for it, so I'm gonna continue because I have been liking it and I like fantasy romance, and for it being a reverse harem, I am also thoroughly enjoying it. I just don't know when I'm going to be picking this series back up again because now I don't have a set schedule for it. Hopefully in November sometime. I don't know. We'll see, but I will be doing a reading vlog for it. Now moving on, after reading those 2 like fantasy books, I saw that Ashley Bennet came out with her book Tentacles and Triathlons. For some reason, I thought this book was coming out in 2023, but it came out this year and I saw that it recently came out, so I ended up picking it up, and I'm pretty sure I gave this book. I hate when I don't remember my own goddamn ratings. I am too funny. So I ended up giving this book 4 stars. I ended up really loving it. This is just a sweet but smutty monster romance, okay? One of our main heroes, this is also MM. One of the heroes is the brother of the human girl from book 1. This is part of the Leviathan Fitness series. This is book number 2. The other main hero is a kraken. Basically, think octopus, but he is fine, okay? I love the art for these monster romances. I think that she does a really good job at marketing her books because every time she drops it, I'm here for it. The human main male character is so hot. The monster main male character, he is a painter and he finds out that the other hero is his mate, and this really starts off as friends to lovers, but it kind of heats up really quick because the human hero ends up having these feelings towards the monster hero. I really need to remember their names because this is getting confusing. Anyways, it was super sweet, super smutty. The smut was really good. The kraken really comes out like very dominant when there is smutty scenes, and then the human hero ends up being more of a submissive. Their relationship is just so cute. You get to see their relationship development. The banter back and forth is really cute. There is a lot of internal trauma with the human hero that he needs to work through, and I think that the monster hero really does a really good job at helping him. And honestly, it was kinky, it was smutty. I was here for it. I was living. 4 stars. Next novella that I read, okay, is the Tentacles and Triathlons, I think counts as a novella. But the next novella that I read was called The Orc's Princess. And this I gave 3 stars. This is basically about a world where orcs exist and the humans do this like Hunger Games name drawing type of thing. They put all of the women in there, and if your name gets drawn, you get to decide whether you want to do the Orc Run. And this run is where the females run and the orcs chase them, and once you get caught, you know, smuttiness ensues, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was. I thought it was hot. I don't really know what else to say. I liked the writing, so now I know that Poppy Kildare is a novella author for me. The next novella that I read was The Orc's Princess, which is the second one in this like little the Orc Run series. And I gave this one 3 stars as well. This one was very enjoyable as well, but the main human woman was giving very much brat, very much princess vibes, but I think that the orc that ends up catching her really puts her in her place. And it was a smutty good old time, and I gave it 3 stars. Next book that I read was Wolf Gone Wild by Juliette Cross. I gave this book 5 stars. Oh my god, first 5 stars of October, and it was absolutely amazing. Literally everything about this book was perfection. Literally, that is why I'm real tough when I give my 5 stars, but you know when I give them, it's for a reason. So this one is about a werewolf who thinks that he has this spell put on him because he hasn't been able to shift into his wolf form in a while. And because of this, now he's able to hear his wolf's voice. His name is Alpha in his head. I think it's Mateo, and his wolf's name is Alpha. So Mateo goes to find this witch who is supposedly well known for breaking hexes, breaking curses, I guess. Same thing? I don't know. And her name, what is her name? I always forget. I want to say her name is Abby, but I could be totally wrong. Oh no, I was totally wrong. I was totally wrong. Her name is Evie. She feels this almost like instant connection with him when she first sees him, but her coven, her sisters, have this rule that they do not deal with werewolves because of their temper. And Evie gets a look firsthand at Mateo's temper, but she also sees that he is not like this in his true like self, that he is just really having a hard time controlling his alpha, his wolf, because he hasn't been able to shift and let his wolf run wild. So right now he is like super amped up, super possessive, super like quick to anger. And the story is basically them trying to figure out who put this hex, put this curse on Mateo. But in between this, they set up this deal where Mateo asks Evie if Evie will spend a couple of hours a day with him because he noticed that his wolf quiets down when he is around Evie. The forced proximity, bitch, had me in a chokehold. The banter, the tension between these two characters, I literally needed them to get together ASAP. This book is funny. You get to see Alpha's voice, his point of view, because he is talking to Mateo in his head. So you get to see that, and it's very distinct when you were reading an ebook. I bet it's distinct when you're reading it physical, but I read it as an ebook. And it was a long time that I had felt the way that I felt while I was reading this book, and I was like, I don't understand why I didn't read this book sooner. Also, this is the perfect book to read in October. It is spooky. It is literally the definition of spooky season. Paranormal, witches, werewolves, vampires. Oof. The other characters you get to meet in this book also had me in a chokehold, and they weren't even the main characters. I literally can't wait till I read the rest of the series because I am dying to know everybody else's relationship. I felt just immense joy while I was reading this. This book is absolute perfection. It is, oh my god. The haunted house scene, bitch, don't even get me started. Also, it was very slow burn, okay? But I loved it. It was slow burn, but I loved it because I was just eating this book up. I was literally page after page after page, I was eating this book up. And when you do get to the smutty scenes, I think you get about maybe like, I want to say like 2 of them, but I can't be sure. Two, maybe 3, but like I think 2, but they were great. I mean, they could have been more detailed and more descriptive and just better, but girl, that did not deter my rating. I loved this book. I give it 5 stars. Now, next book that I read was Funny Feelings by Tarah Dewitt, and I gave this book 5 stars. This book was absolute perfection. I have no complaints. Read this book. Read this book ASAP. The way that this book, again, it just made me feel while I was reading it, I also ate this book up. It was page after page. I don't know what was going on, but these two books back to back also put me in a slump. Let's just say that. But back to the book. I gave it 5 stars because it was absolute perfection. I don't know. Honestly, take everything that I said from Wolf Gone Wild and put it to this one, but this one is a cozy small town romance, and our main heroine, Farley, she is a comedian, which I loved. This was so different. And she has this like friends to lovers relationship with her manager. So she meets our hero, what's his name? Murray. 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 I think Murray. 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 I'm gonna go with Murray. So they meet, and he is a single dad. First of all, single dad, and his daughter is deaf. They obviously communicate with sign language, and it was just the relationship that they build first, because I feel like Farley builds a relationship with his daughter first before she kind of builds a relationship with him. And I think because this happens, Murray just, honestly, I don't think it's Murray. I don't know, I just feel like it was wrong. But anyways, just because I feel like because Farley made this relationship first with his daughter, he instantly like saw her, you know what I mean? And it's definitely slow burn, but the way that Tarah Dewitt does the spicy scenes, and also just the way that she goes into our characters' heads and then explains what they want to do to the other character. Okay. It was so good. Oh my God. I definitely want to thank, I think it's at the Love Librarian here on BookTube, and I think on bookstagram as well. She put me on, like she made me put this rec down. Like I wrote this rec down because of her, and it was so good. It was so good. Like I don't know how else to tell you guys. Read it. If you like single dad, cozy, because this takes place around maybe like November to like New Year's, January, February. So I just thought this book, there's literally nothing wrong with this book except the epilogue, but we'll get there. Just single dad, cozy romance, small town, heroine is a comedian, forced proximity, workplace romance, the banter, the sexual tension, the mutual pining, the thing that the hero does for the heroine, that he has to shove his feelings down because he's putting her first, period. The way that he does things for her sexually first without anything in return for like maybe 2 or 3 times, period. Oh my God. Anyways, perfection, 5 stars. The only thing that I had an issue with, which wasn't even really that big of an issue, was the epilogue. The epilogue was done in interview style, like there was an interviewer interviewing Farley, and I was just like, this is not what I wanted. This is not what I asked for. I wanted the epilogue to be like every other fucking epilogue. And I know maybe she was trying to do something different, but like, no, I want to see my hero and my heroine happy, having babies, the wedding, just everything. I just want to see my couple happy in the epilogue. And this interview thing that happened for the epilogue was just not it for me. It was very disappointing, especially because it was an epilogue and I had been waiting for a long time. But it wasn't enough for me to knock down a star or half a star or any stars. This book is literally 5 stars, and it is well deserved. Also, I don't think there's really a third act breakup, because the way that this like third act breakup was handled, it was straight communication, and it was straight like Farley being able to put down boundaries without having retaliation back from the hero. And I thought that it was very realistic. Anyways, like I said, there was literally nothing wrong with this book except the epilogue a little bit, but still read it. It is so good. Perfect fall read, especially this cover. Oh my God, I love it. Now, after that, you best believe that I was in a slump, and I was also moving, so I read a lot of novellas. So let's start off with Jekyll by Zoe Black. This was by a recommendation by at Library of Ash on TikTok, or I think it was bookstagram, I don't know, but she took an amazing picture, or I had seen it on her booktok and she was talking about it, and it was like a video, like of overlay, I don't know, it was so good. I was like, okay, looks spooky, Jekyll and Hyde and Jekyll gives that vibe. So I picked it up. This is very much dark romance. The hero has a split personality because he's trying to test this serum to make like super soldiers, and the panel, the people who run this, who give him authority, aren't giving him authority to test on humans, so he hasn't been able to see true test results. Now our heroine, she is the hero's new assistant, and honestly the vibes in this book, immaculate. The way that the heroine is described is just perfection, like very spooky. I feel like very old Victorian vibes, very gothic, and basically our hero ends up taking the serum for himself, and he ends up having a split personality where his other personality is very dark, very dominant, very dubcon. He is obsessed with the heroine. He stalks her and he kidnaps her, and he does a lot of things to her, but you know, she kind of loves it. It was very good for what it was. It was also very smutty. The other side of the split personality in the hero was very much the more submissive, sweet hero, which I really wasn't vibing with. I really wish that he could have blended the two, if you know what I mean. I don't really know how that would have worked because it's a split personality, but I wish he would have taken traits from his other side, his more dominant side, and put it into his more like submissive side, I guess, if you could say. But also, I honestly also didn't really love the ending, because the ending, like, she ends up getting with one of the personalities, and then she is upset that their sex life isn't the way that she wants it, and she's like journaling about it, but then the husband finds it and then he like changes for her, which I was like, bitch, you should have chosen the one that you fucking wanted. It's either or, because you couldn't have blended them, which, I mean, you know, it would have been best of both worlds if you would have just blended them. But anyways, I gave it 4 stars. It was good for what it was. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars, but maybe it's giving very much 3 stars, but I can't remember, so I'm keeping it out of 4 because I thought it was good. Should I change my rating to 3? Because did I love it? Honestly, I did low-key love it until the end. So I'm gonna keep my rating to a 4 star. Okay, now moving on, I read Primal by YZ Perez. This was by the recommendation of Alexandra. I will link them all down below because these are all amazing recs and all amazing. And Alexandria is a book talker. So yes, she gave this recommendation and I think she gave it 3 stars or maybe 4. I ended up giving it 2 stars. I didn't start this book until the 8th of October and I didn't finish it until October 12th. It took me too long to read this. I don't know if it was because I was in a slump, but this is also a novella. It does end on a cliffhanger. It is very mafia. The heroine's father used to work with the hero's past boss, but that boss is dead now, so the hero is the boss now, but the heroine's dad passed away and now she is a doctor and runs her own clinic. And the hero pulls up and he brings his brother because his brother got shot, so he's looking for the heroine's father because he doesn't know that he passed away, but the heroine is a doctor, so she ends up treating his brother, and this is how they meet. Very insta love, very insta lust, which usually in novellas I don't mind, but there was something about the writing I just was not vibing with. I really liked that the heroine was a Latina. I mean, she only says mi amor like 2 times. That's literally the only Spanish she speaks. I don't know. I just gave it 2 stars. It took me too long to read. I didn't really like the writing. The banter was very repetitive. Like the arguments was very repetitive. She was very much trying to be resistant towards him, but you knew from the beginning that she was gonna be with him. Also, the heroine is curvy. She has a lot of dialogue and thoughts about weight that I thought was positive. I'm trying to think of good things to say, but I gave it 2 stars. stars. I didn't love it. I didn't even enjoy it because I was just so out of it. It might have been the time that I was reading it. Honestly, I think it was the writing, and it's just, it was just a book that wasn't for me, but it might be for you. It does end on a cliffhanger, and like I said, I didn't enjoy it enough to read the second one, and I probably won't ever be picking up the second one, so I don't know, but that's what I gave it. Then I read Bossy Beard. This is the third book in the Mail Order Mountain series by Cassie Mint. I ended up giving this book 4 stars. I was really looking forward to this book because I did end up reading like this little teaser from the second book, and this is boss employee, forced proximity, mutual pining, dual POV. Basically our heroine signs up for the mail order bride, and so does the hero, and they get matched. It's like secret identity, and they eventually find out, and it's smutty and it's perfect, and they finally get together. Honestly, this Cassie Mint. I gave it 3 stars. It was really, really good. Oh, no. I gave it 4 stars. It was really good. I loved it. I think it was also a nice refresher after Primal. Next, I read Little Slice of Hell by Clio Evans. Okay, I had been hearing about Clio Evans for a while, okay? I knew that she was on my TBR of eventually like reading. I thought these books were full length. I didn't know that they were novellas, but once I found out that they were novellas, I read a lot of them. These are paranormal monster romances where takes place in this creature cafe, that's what it's called, and the barista ends up finding soulmates to these creatures that come to him to get matchmates. And in this one, this incubus, he is the main hero. This is an MM romance. So the incubus, and I think it's Peter, the other male main character, they are paired together, and it's very insta love, insta lust. But let me tell y'all, these smut in these novellas is just top tier. Okay, if you're looking for smutty monster romances, smutty monster novella romances, these are for you. And it is diverse, and it just brings so much. It's monsters. There are novellas that are MMF, there's FFM, there's MM, there's MF. There's just so much diversity, and all of these monsters are just looking for a mate. And you know, I live for a fated mate situation. I ended up giving the first book 3 stars, but I think it's more like 3.5, but I'm rounding it down to a 3 because I just thoroughly enjoy them. Next book that I read was Little Sip of Sin by Clio Evans as well. This is book 2 in the Creature Cafe. This one is about 2 dragons and a human female. Listen, the anatomy on some of these monsters is just wild. Sometimes I have I don't even struggle. Sometimes I just be picturing this in my head and I'm like, bro. Okay, honestly, just so smutty. Listen, you got 2 dragons, you got kinks, you got breeding, you got, you know, big appendages, you have just everything that you want in a monster romance, and it is smutty as hell, the dirty talk. There is plot, but I feel like it's an ongoing plot in this like series, and it has to do with the barista, so, and it all just kind of plays together, and all of these monsters are like possessive, alpha, just chef's kiss. I ended up giving the second book 3.5 stars as well, but I ran it down to a 3. Now, it was Friday, October 14th, and Heartless by Elsie Silver came out, and I read it. I binged it in one day, same day, finished it. Came out, read it, finished it, amazing. 5 stars. Oh my God, October has just been the month of 5 stars. 5 stars 3 times in October. Heartless, what? Perfection. Elsie Silver does not miss. She just does not miss. Y'all know how much I love Flawless. I will link the reading vlog that I did where I did read Flawless so you guys can see my thoughts on that one. But that is the first book. Heartless is the second book, and it is single dad, grumpy sunshine, forced proximity. The heroine is the nanny of the kid of the hero. And I just, oh my God, cozy small town romance, the tension, the angst, how grumpy Cade is, but for a reason. He is so hurt, but the way that Willa just brings him out of his shell, and the way that the banter is just chef's kiss. This book is so good. If you haven't read it, you have to read it. I think there's a live show today with Elsie Silver, and I really want to watch it. I'll see if I can, but I can't wait for the third book. I can't wait. I love the found family. I love the way that she does the text messages at the beginning of every chapter. The smut, the dirty talk. Cade motherfucking Eaton. He is a cowboy. You get all of that just vibes, the atmosphere, the relationship between Willa and Luke, I think is the kid's name, is just so amazing. The way that they parent, the way that they are protective. It's like they fall in love. Well, I mean, Cade is the dad, so he already loved his kid. But the way that Willa falls in love with Luke is something that makes Cade see Willa. And it's very much opposites attract, very much Grumpy Sunshine, like I said. It is just perfection. I can't wait till I can reread this book, because I feel like when I read it, I was binging it, and it was something that I wanted to read after reading so many novellas. I just knew that it was gonna be a 5 stars, and like it proved me right. Like I knew, I just page after page after page, and I did annotate, but I can't wait to reread it so I can further like annotate it. Oh my god, the kitchen scene at the birthday party lives rent free in my head. I can tell you that. I can tell you that. It is so good, and it is so well worth it because it's slow burn, but it's just that build up. Some authors just know what they're doing. Like, slow burn just done right. I am telling you, read it. I loved it so much. I gave it 5 stars again. It is well deserved. I did go back to novellas because I didn't really know what book I wanted to pick up after Heartless. So I read Little Lick of Lust by Clio Evans, and this one is about the Minotaur friends, and I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I think I'm giving this book 3.75, but I still kind of rounded it down to a 3. I really enjoyed this one. I just think it because it was so different. First off, we got a femme dom, which I wasn't expecting, but at the same time I was eating it up. This one is one of the smuttier ones, I think. I mean, they're all so smutty, but this one, I just remember more of it. Like, more of it lives rent free in my head. You know what I mean? Like, every time I think back up on it, it's like she dominates him, but when she's done dominating, she likes to be dominated. The way that the hero worships the ground the heroine walks on, his thoughts. There's a little bit of a good boy action in here, which I eat up. Just honestly, it was amazing. It was so good. If you read any of these, I think if you're really into like femdom, pegging, the worshipful hero, but also being dominant when he needs to be, the breeding king, the massive appendage, I think you should read this one for sure. It was really good. Last book that I read in the first half of October was Little Shock of Hate by Clio Evans. This one I'm for sure giving 3 stars, like solid. I think that my heart a little bit couldn't take it because this is an romance. One of the heroes is just an alpha asshole. Like, he's a straight asshole. Like, he is so mean. There's also a part in here that I just really truly did not enjoy, and it has to do with that bathroom scene because the hero says no, so the other hero does something, and I'm just like, I did not love that. But it was smutty, and you know, the other hero, like the one that's not the alpha asshole, he truly enjoyed that he was an alpha asshole. I mean, they're figured mates, so they're like kind of perfect for each other, but I also really enjoyed how the asshole hero really like melted for his mate. You know what, it just hits right when the asshole finally is like, oh my god, I like love him, because he was like, oh, I don't want love, I just want a mate, because he's looking for his mate, because there's a point that his type of monster reaches where if he doesn't find his mate soon, he will die. So that's why he goes to the barista, because the barista owes him a favor. He finds his mate and he's like, I just want my mate to, like, you know, I just want to dominate him, I just want him to listen to what I say and, like, you know, be his pet. The barista's like, just wait. And yeah, just wait, because he ends up being wrapped around the other hero's finger. So it was really good. I gave it 3 stars. It was kind of mean at some points, and like I said, I didn't like that bathroom scene, so that's why I'm giving it a solid 3 stars. But those are all the books that I read in the first half of October. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Leave me any comment down below. Let me know how your spooky season reading is going. Catch me up. Just catch me up, because I feel like I haven't been active for so long and I'm missing you guys. So just let me know down below in the comments how you're doing, what you're reading, just anything. Update me. If you don't want to do all that, then you can leave me the ghost emoji, because it's spooky season. I'm still trying to be in the mood, and I expect a couple of more reading vlogs here soon. I'm trying to catch up on those. But yeah, again, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.